Tommy Reynolds has his gun out. He's pointing the gun, and all of a sudden, Tommy Reynolds has his gun out. He's pointing the gun, and all of a sudden, I see this woman.
They say it's on every single station. They're saying that Daddy died.
He said there was an accident and your father is no longer with us.
In real life, I'm not like that.
And the Mario test was disgusting.
One night I jumped out of a car doing 60 miles an hour because I was addicted.
Salute, Mob Tube.
Salute, Mob Tube. How is everybody today? As you guys saw from the title, I'm going to have Chicky Cecchetelli on. He is going to tell us about his story from beginning to end, basically. A little bit about his past, what went on in his life, and what he's doing now. So I'm looking forward to this. I like Chicky. He's a very interesting guy. He's a funny guy. I like talking to the guy. I like, we have fun when we talk. So I'm going to have him on here, and we can get started, all right? Here is Chicky Cecchetelli. What's up, Chicky?
Hey, FBS, how you doing, my pal? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I always have a good time when I'm on with your show. Last time we did with Tony Grasso, we had some laughs, and I'm looking forward to this time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Last time we spoke a little bit more about Anthony, but this time you're going to tell your story, so I'm looking forward to it. All right, so you want to get started from the beginning? Where'd you grow up? Your upbringing?
Yeah, I grew up in Western Massachusetts, Springfield, Mass. And if anybody knows our area down here, we're about an hour from Boston, 20 minutes from Hartford, Connecticut, maybe 45 minutes from New Haven, a couple hours from the city, from New York City. We're centrally located on the Connecticut River to everything. Providence, Rhode Island's an hour from us. Albany, New York's an hour from us. So, we're pretty much anywhere. I grew up in a city predominant in the beginning, a lot of Irish and Italian. My father and my mother were hardworking people. They weren't into the organized crime life, nothing like that. My father was born and raised in the Bronx. He had 9 brothers and 4 sisters, and they lived in a 4-story walk-up on Arthur Avenue, right off Arthur Avenue. And my grandmother, like I said, raised nine boys and 4 girls. And my father's father owned a bar somewhere near Arthur Avenue. For many years, he was a chef and he owned a bar. And probably, I don't know, I wasn't born yet, but I came as a baby. My father picked up, and him and about 6 of his brothers came over to New England, Western Massachusetts, to at the time open up they were into the auto body business out of the Bronx. And at the time, the Bronx was just saturated with auto body. So they said, you know what? So they got some idea to come visit family out in New England, and they needed auto body shops. So they all got together and they came out here, 6 or 7 of them. And out of the 6 or 7, my father's the only one that didn't own an auto body. 6 of his brothers did. He went to a job at a big factory where he later on became like a shop steward or a big shot in the factory. So my father worked hard his whole life. My mother, very hard worker, home wife, mother, home wife and mother to me. And my brothers and sisters, I have a brother that's 10 years older than me, and then they go up from there. So I was basically home with my mother and my grandmother. My mother's mother moved in with us right after my parents came home from their honeymoon. There was my grandmother living with us. So I really had 2 mothers. And my mother, she crossed kids for the school department. She would go morning, noon, and night at 3 o'clock, and she'd cross the kids across the street to the kids. And she did that for 45 years. So they were never around the mob. I mean, my grandfather, my uncles, they all were, but my father never really was. A lot of friends of them, they respected him. He respected a lot of them, but he just never was like that. And so just I grew up in a real tough part of the city called Hungry Hill, East Springfield. Hungry Hill is a predominant Irish neighborhood with Italians, and East Springfield the same. And it's in Springfield, Mass. And it's If anybody knows about the Irish guys, real tough guys, real tough guys. Throughout the federal prison sentence system, throughout all the state prison sentence, the Irish guys are real. They're heavy hitter, tough guys. There's no joking around. And we used to mix with them. You know, the Italians would be from our area too. And then we had an area in Springfield called the South End, which I hung around since I was a little kid. And that was all Italians. It was like South Philly, or like all these different Mulberry Street. It was, all the South End is all Italians from in Springfield. At one time, it was all Italians. So I grew up around these guys as we were little kids, and we were like, it was so funny. We hung around with like 20 of us in our age group. And then we had the older guys that were like 5-6 years older than us. And then we had the guys maybe 5-6 younger than us. So at any given night, if there was ever a beef at a bar or a beef anywhere, within a half an hour, we could have, no lie, 80 to 100 guys at a location. You know what I mean? And sometimes we did do that. And we were just like running around fighting each other, not fighting each other, but fighting other different people, other groups of us, the Irish, this, that. And, I can remember at 16 years old, 15 years old, we were going to bars. Now, they wouldn't even card us because, you'd come in with a bunch of guys, and then they knew our older brothers, our older cousins. They knew our older uncles. And, of course, they would let you right in, and we would hang around. But going back, even as a kid, I'll tell you some funny things we did as a kid. Now, I grew up, like I said, in Springfield. And this is not me giving secrets away or nothing. This is all public knowledge. Springfield has been a haven for the Genovese family since probably the 1930s, maybe even before that. And back in that day, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, all the way up, there was some real heavy hitters in Springfield. Like I'm talking for this area, like the Vito Genovese of this area, Sam Cafari, Big Nose Sam, Francisco Skyball Schiavelli, his brothers. I mean, these guys were like the old school back in the day, the suits, the ties, the old school. From what I understand, I believe that Sam Cafari, they called him Big Nose Sam, was actually at the meeting in the Appalachians. Remember that big meeting in the Appalachians amongst all the families and everything? So, you're talking about old school guys. And as guys came up in Springfield and as guys came over from Italy, they would breed out to certain ones. And later on down the road, the younger guys would come up in the family, and some of them would become soldiers and captains and eventually bosses in our area as time went on. And so as kids, there'd be 7 or 8 of us hung around day and night. And back in the 80s, we were like teenagers before we even got our license. Just like, it starts off very simple and stupid, but then it goes on to other things. But we used to love busting their balls. Even the guys down the club. At the time when I was a kid, there was 3 clubs, Italian clubs, which seems like a lot, but within the 3 or 4 block radius. Now in New York, I know a club's on every other block. I know that. But in Springfield, for the town we had, there was 3 of them real close. And every Sunday night they had their card games and they'd watch sports. And every Monday night they'd have Monday Night Football. So there were certain days and nights, like Sundays, they'd watch football. And just this funny little story I was thinking of the other day was, and it's very, very simple, but just drive them out of their minds. This is what we used to do. Back in the 80s, they came out with the cable. Remember MTV and all this came out, the cable boxes? They just started coming out.
Yeah.
And they didn't have it perfected yet. So they give you a box. It was called the Regency box, and then a Regency clicker. But it wasn't like it is today where you got to go into a signal. You could literally take that clicker, the clicker, not the box, and you could put that in your pocket, and you could go to any of your friends' houses, anywhere you wanted, at bars or anything, and the clicker worked on every box the same. So you could change a channel, and nobody would figure out what the hell's happening, So just a funny story, ball busters we are. We used to go down the club, and we'd hide outside the window of the club, and all these big shot guys were in there playing cards, and the money's flashing. And we were young teenagers, maybe 13, 14. And we would lay on the ground, and there'd be a big game on, whatever, say a Monday night game, and they'd be going crazy. Turn up the game. The money's on the game. We need this touchdown. And as soon as the touchdown, the guy would get the ball and go to throw a pass. And right before the pass was caught, we would click the channel off. So all the TVs would go off in the club. And if nowadays we got these cell phones where you could record people going crazy, if I ever had something to record what they used to say, they would curse, "You mother effer, you ratting bastard," throwing stuff off the walls because they thought the cable was down or something was broke. And sure enough, they turn it back on. Okay, it's on. It's good. Yeah. 10 minutes later, another big thing comes up. They're all got the game. They're all right up to the TV looking. It's the last play, or they got to get this 10 yards to make the first down. Right before the play goes off, we'd switch to like some movie channel or cartoon channel, and we piss our pants again. Now, these are big shot guys. If they ever seen us, they bang, really probably bang us up pretty good. But this is what we used to do. Small little shit like this. It started out, and then it just they got to know us, and then the bar fights. So, we're coming up and we're around these guys, and a lot of these guys own bars in Springfield. A lot of the wise guys own bars, the strip joints, and of course they knew us from the neighborhood, from hanging around. We hung around with their sons, their grandsons, their nephews, so they knew who we were. And it just starts off as small as that, and it goes forward. And one in particular one took a really big liking to me, and his name was Adolfo Big Al Bruno, and he was like a mentor to me. Yeah. And when I mean a mentor, I mean in that life, because my father was always my hero in the other kind of life where, hey, get a job, you bring your paycheck home on Thursday to your wife, you give it to her, let her pay the bills, she gives you an allowance. So I didn't come from a broken home, so I'd be lying if I said I did. I didn't come from my parents on drugs or my parents alcoholics. I hear a lot of them stories now. I just didn't come from that. And so I was blessed to have that home life. And I'll never forget, I would see, and it's hard to explain to people because if they don't know, they don't know. But the ones that do know say, no, I know exactly what he's saying. But people have, if you go in a kid's room today, an average teenager, 13, 14, 15, on his wall, there might be a picture of a rock group, or not a rock group. Now today there's rappers, and maybe here's a picture, or a picture of LeBron James, or a picture of this or that. Well, in my day, you walk in my room, and it's funny looking back now where times has brought us. But in my day, 14, 13, we walk in my room, and there'd be a picture of John Gotti Sr., the father, or there'd be a picture of all these movie gangsters like The Godfather, and we would have the actual pictures on my wall, not of like Mickey, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth. This is who we looked up to. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but that's just the way it was. That was the time we were in. And
I was the same way, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what I mean? And we had pictures, and you would think my friends would say, are you crazy? Why are you doing this? No, they wouldn't, because they would be in my room saying, oh my God, you should move this up here. This guy got promoted. Put him up here. And they would help me. So in other words, I can almost imagine like an FBI office when they have the 5 families and who's there and who's acting and it was the same thing in our room. It was like almost laughable. And Chris, it was so funny because before you even have a license, we'd be getting dropped off at bars, and I'd get in trouble. Me and my friends would get in trouble for assault and batteries with a dangerous weapon, all court things, not really hurt anybody, but go to court. And they pick me up. I get arrested that night. Me and my friends would get arrested, and we make bail the next day. And then a case would come out of it. We'd have to go to court. And I never forget, every time, it happened like 3 or 4 times, we get arrested, assault and battery. I'd come home. The next morning, I walk in my room, Chris, and every single picture of my wall was ripped down. My mother would have a field day. Oh, you want to be like them? She'd rip all the pictures down. So this happened 3 or 4 times where I put them back up. The next day, something happened. She ripped them down again. So that was another ending battle. And then time went on after that. And, it gets bigger and bigger. And then right out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'll just get into a little of the story. I ended up joining the military, which was a good thing. And that's a whole nother story in itself. But I actually get hurt in the military. And I'm only in the military for a few years. I get out. And now I'm really lost. I'm retired from the military. Yep, I get a good retirement, and I don't know if I want to go to college or not. So then I cooked up with Bruno. Now Bruno's been in jail, in and out. I ended up hooking up with him, and it was so funny because a friend of mine's father knew me from being on the street, my whole life, and hung around and knew what kind of guy I was. If I got in trouble, I wasn't opening up. If my friends needed help, I'd be the first one to help them. I mean, this ain't me saying it. This is, anybody that knows me will tell you. But yeah. I was never the go-to guy. Oh, if this guy got to go beat up, go send Chicky. I was never that guy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would help anybody. My friends never had a problem calling me if something had to happen. But I was never that guy. I was more the guy, oh, let's go get Chicky. He'll make us laugh. We'll make money with him. Stuff like that. So Bruno got around me. He took a liking to me. And it was funny because he had come up to me one day and he says, how'd you like to clean out the office for me? So I didn't. Now at the time, I didn't know what that meant. So I mean, clean off the office. He goes, yeah, you come clean out the office. Now that's what he said. So I had talked to my friend on the way home from that little meeting with Bruno. I talked to my friend and I said, I mean, what the fuck? The guy wants me to, excuse my language. The guy wants me to clean out the office. What's he think? I'm going to sweep and mop and do the floor? If I was going to do that, I'd go work with my father. And it didn't mean that at all. It didn't mean that. What it meant was you were going to clean out the office and stay on top of other bookmakers that they didn't rob them. Make sure they didn't pass post. Like if a game started at 12:15, they didn't put it in at 12:30 when there was 2 scores already going. And everybody would fax the stuff to me and I would make sure nobody robbed them. So then I found that out and I said, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it. So I started doing that for about a year. And then a series of pinches took place where all the guys in the office got picked up on racketeering cases and they all went to jail. And so he set me up in an office. He said, you're going to run my main office. I said, all right. So I was in there. I learned from the best guys and I ran his biggest office. I mean, I ran probably the biggest office all in New England at the time. And I probably had 100 customers, no bullshit myself, 100 customers. And out of that 100 customers, probably another 25 that were layoff bookies from all over New England. So they would call me and we were the layoff. I wasn't the guy who figured it out and said, okay, let's lay off to Vegas. No, we were the layoff. So, nobody could get higher than us. And I was with them for about 20 years. And in that 20 years, I took a couple pinches for bookmaking. And, as long as there's no violence, you get a pitch for bookmaking. It's basically a fine, 6 months probation. You don't do it again. You see you later. That pretty much it is. And then, and then, like I said, I did that for him for a lot of years, and I became friends with a lot of people, and time went up, and like being around the guy, he was like the only way I can put it is he was like for our area, and anybody that knows him or knows about him will tell you, he was like the movie star gangster of Western Mass, New England. Everybody knew him. He was the money making. He was known to be one of the biggest money making Genovese guys in history. Anywhere you went, they knew him. He was very flashy, whether it was in Boston, New York. And I'll give you a little funny thing. So I used to take 2 weeks a year and go vacation. And, I'd get somebody to cover the office. And I tell Bruno, I'm going to go away. I'm going to be gone. This and it had to be like in a very, definitely not in football season. It'd have to be like baseball season or some time of the season that ain't that busy. Yeah. So he had a condo in Pompano Beach, Florida, like 11th, 12th floor overlooking the water. So he said, go down and stay at my place. I had a wife and 2 kids at the time. He said, 2 little babies, 2 years. At the time, my Alexa was 1 and my Gianna was 3. So I was good friends. He had 5 sons. I was good friends with one of the sons in particular. All of the sons I was friends with, but his son Victor was in my wedding party. So we were very close. So Bruno says, where are you going to go on vacation? I go, I don't really know. Maybe Disney World. He goes, forget about Disney World. He goes, go down to my place in Pompano, stay for a couple of weeks, enjoy yourself. Whatever you need down there, go down there. So I get a hold of my ex-wife, the wife at the time, and my 2 kids, and I get her mother to come with us. And I fly us down to we land in Fort Lauderdale Airport. And so now I'm going to come out and I'm going to get a taxi and go to the Pompano Beach address. And so I'll never forget it. I come out of the Fort Lauderdale Airport and there's a huge white limousine in front of and I couldn't make this up, huge white limousine in front of where I come out. And there's a guy just like on TV standing outside with a tuxedo and that says Chicky on the sign, like you see on movies. Yeah. So my wife at the time goes, are you kidding me? What the hell's going on? We don't know. I got my kids. I got my wife. I got my mother-in-law, and I got about 10 baggages. So the guy goes, are you Chicky? Yeah. And he says, the Brunos called. They want us to limo you to the house. These were kind of, the guys were class acts, So we get in the limousine, and they're bringing us, and we go to the condo, beautiful condo, and we go upstairs, and, my kids are looking out the window. It's 11 stories overlooking the ocean. And we get in the condo and everything. So now I make a call to Bruno and his son, and I say, hey, listen, thank you. They picked us up. So I says to him, but we got to rent a car. Who do you go to? You must know somebody to rent a car down here. And he goes, do you see the keys? He excites. You see the keys over the wherever, the refrigerator? I go, yeah, they're right here. He goes, go downstairs, take the elevator to the cellar and just go out and hit the thing, and it'll show you what kind of car. So I go, no, I don't want to use your car. I go, there's no need for it. I'll just rent the car. He goes, just take the car. So I go down and I go in the lot and I start blinking his thing. So all of a sudden I hear the car start making a noise like I'm finding the car. A brand new white Fleetwood, like a year old, beautiful. The biggest Fleetwood they made back in, I think it was like in the early 90s. They made them as big as a boat, you know what I mean? But beautiful car. So anyways, when you went down there in 2 weeks, I mean, he really made sure he did for me anyways. That's the memory I got of him. Very flamboyant. I take my wife and the kids out to the best restaurants. I mean, it was a hell of a time. That's the whole purpose of the story, is just how he treated me. He was just incredible. But on the back end, I treated him good too. I made sure he was treated right as far as watching his business. So where are we going? Okay, so now I come back. I'm running the book, like I said. So in 2005, I'm picked up in a major. Let me back up a little bit. A lot of things are happening back and forth in Springfield. There's a lot of power struggles going on. There's a lot of things happening that to this day people can Google Springfield and see for themselves. It just, you didn't know what was happening for real and what was happening for other reasons. But Bruno, I believe it was November 23rd, 2003, a Sunday night, after a Sunday night card game, he gets murdered. Our mentor of all the kids of our friends that hung around with me, he gets murdered in the Mark Carmel parking lot, which is a social club. And this is, like I said, it's all on Google and everything. It's nothing like I'm giving any secrets away. But he ends up getting murdered, and now right after he gets murdered, 6 months later, I pick up an indictment, and he was on the indictment with me. And due to him being murdered, obviously, even though he was on the indictment with you, obviously they're not arresting him. And we picked up a big indictment into being a bookmaking operations for the Genovese family. I mean, I pleaded guilty to it. I'm not like I'm just saying it. I pleaded guilty and went to federal prison for it. So I ended up pleading guilty.
I don't want to cut you off.
Sorry.
I want to ask real quick.
Yep.
What kind of money were you making at this point with an operation like that?
Multi. They estimated it at millions a week, but it was a lot. It was a lot because multi-million dollars. Let me say. I don't want to just let's say multi-millions.
No, but you were seeing a lot of that yourself.
Well, you got to understand something. There was different guys for different jobs. I didn't see. In other words, I took the action. I would hand off the action to somebody else. They would go give it to somebody else. That would be the guy that ran around and paid and collect. So it wasn't like I was making up figures and I was having to go to the place and getting cash. I was given the paper with all the figures every week, and then they would go to the next guy and he would go get the money from where he got it, and the next guy would go pay and collect. And that's, you have three different guys doing it. But you might get people that want to bust my chops, but at the time I was doing it, I was one of the best at doing it. I really was. I mean, there was other guys that were sharper than me as far as lines and stuff, but I was pretty sharp at getting the job done and being done early and making sure 100 customers, you're talking a lot of paperwork. You're talking on a Sunday between football all day and Sunday night, and never mind Saturday with all the college basketball, college football. You're talking on a weekend, hundreds of pages of paperwork that has to be corrected. You have to fax it to another guy that corrects it. And by 10:30, 11 o'clock, right after the game on Sunday night, 8 o'clock Sunday night, by 11 o'clock Sunday night, I mean, it's unheard of, but I used to have the figures done by 11:30 at night, Sunday night. There was people on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday still didn't have their figures. And I already had my figures in Sunday night, which is unheard of if anybody knows that business. Unheard of.
Yeah.
So
it's funny.
So
it's funny, but it's run like an office. I mean, like.
Oh yeah, I mean, what it is it's run like an office, and it's an office. You have different offices, places, and you change them up. And now see, nowadays it's so perfect because there's nobody in an office. There's nobody you got to worry about. Nobody robbing you. They got these Costa Rica numbers, 800 number. You call an 800 number, and it just started getting into this when I was almost done. You call an 800 number. They give you the most perfect lines. You can't get robbed. They do great lines. They take your action. It's all recorded. You can't rob them, and there's no mistakes. You cut out all the running around. You cut out all the people on the phone trying to rob you. You cut out the customers trying to rob you. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, the system they got in place now. And that's what everybody in the whole country is going to. Besides, it's legal. I mean, it's legal in almost all the states except for, of course, Massachusetts, where I'm from. And what's that?
No, I just said because
it's legal. So
I
Now,
got
the
the sports
case,
book right in the casino.
yeah, the case I was picked up in 2005, I was the last, as of today's date, 2022, and my lawyer can tell you this. We just found out like a couple weeks ago when I went to court. I'm the last case in 2005 who went to federal prison for pleading guilty to a federal to bookmaking with no violence. Now remember that bookmaking with no violence. I was the last one that got that pleaded guilty, was convicted, and went to federal prison. Okay, for just straight gambling. I was the last one in all of New England, and that's still in 2022. That still holds. So like I said, I went to prison and I got out, and of course you're on probation. I'm sorry, what?
What was your sentence? What did you receive?
Okay. Now, remember, with a straight book, it was hardly nothing. With a straight bookmaking with no violence, everybody's saying there was no guidelines. They said you could get 6 months to 2 years. I ended up with a little under a year, which I should have really got. I should have put in for a year and a day. I would have got out sooner, but it was nothing. It was just a bookmaking with no violence. And back then, like I said, now I guess you don't even go to jail for that. It's a nothing thing. You get probation on a bookmaking, or even if you go through with it, it's probably probation with bookmaking with no violence. So I ended up going on a small sentence, getting it over with. And then when I came out, it was a whole nother. I had the probation. They give you the 3-year probation. They gave me over 10. I think it was $15,000 fine I had to pay. Paid that, and plus a lawyer. You pay that. So when I got out, the whole spectrum of our area had changed. Like I said, new people were taking over. Other people got in trouble, big trouble. Other people got life sentences. Guys that were up high in the organization had become cooperators. It just was a crazy, crazy time in our area for the last, for that all the way up through 2012. All in that area. A lot of good guys took pinches and went away. It just was crazy. So basically, I just kind of pulled back a little bit, and I said, and I started getting that. Now, keep in mind, these YouTube channels weren't out, and all these people who cooperated to get YouTube channels, that wasn't even on the forefront, And I sat back and I just said, why does it have to take? And this was only me, and I'm nothing. I'm just saying, from my point of view, hanging around my whole life, doing a lot of things, and like I said, with the different pinches for several pinches for bookmaking, going to federal prison at the USP Canaan in Waymar, Pennsylvania. They had me at MCC Manhattan, which is a heavy hitter joint. To even be there, just to wait there to go to USP Canaan for a bookmaking beef is crazy. I mean, that's where they have El Chapo. They had serious. Every big time organized crime guy from New York spent time there. So I was only there a couple months, but just even have me there for bookmaking was crazy. But and then I ended up going to USP Canaan, which is a federal penitentiary, which is a heavy hitter joint over there. And it's like they called it gladiator school at one time. That's how many people were getting killed and knifed, and guards were getting killed. I mean, it was crazy for bookmaking. And so when I came out, I told you a lot of things had changed, and so I just started going in a different direction. And now the last several years, things are going really good. I mean, like I said, we can go into a lot of stuff, but I don't know where you want to go with this. I ended up, I'm not going to get into it now, but in December 5th of 2019, it's unfortunate, but not because of me, but it's just unfortunately that I was part of the biggest indictment, and I won't get into too much now because there's a lot of people that are very close to me that are still, going throughout the case, and a lot of kids that are still going through the case that I grew up since kids with. They were kids when I knew them, when I was older, and I wouldn't do nothing to until their case is over. But the Boston FBI office called it the biggest biggest indictment or biggest takedown in the history of the FBI. And like I said, I don't want to go into too much of that. If people want to Google, they can Google my name and it'll come up. And I just happen to be, they called it, the reporters actually called it, I took a stray bullet of sorts, but not literally, And it was my, it is what it is. It was my fault. Wrong time, wrong place. And the feds came in at 4:00 in the morning, which that'll be a whole nother story told when I can tell it. And that in itself is the most incredible story to date. And but like I said, I got a lot of people dear to me that are still fighting and I won't say, until they get squared away as far as, their case is over, and others too, before I'll talk about that. But so that's where we're at. We're heading down a great direction. And then to kind of go into like the movies. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Yeah, before we go into that, because there's something I wanted to make sure we touch on. First of all, thank you, Jersey Girl, for the super chat. What happened? You were in prison with somebody interesting. I think people would like to hear about.
Can absolutely. Talk about that? Oh, of course I would. And thank you for bringing that up. You're talking about MCC in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and here's another thing. When you go to federal prison, and anybody in the audience that ever been to federal prison, or if their family or fathers have been in there, you meet some heavy hitter guys, and like I said, if you conduct yourself on the street as you're a funny guy, you're a solid guy, they can trust you, but you're funny, then you're going to be that way in prison. If you're like a little, if you're a big mouth on the street and all you do is talk and you got nothing to back it up, they're going to pick that up in prison. That's just the way it works. They pick it up right away how you are. So I had to go to MCC Manhattan for a couple months prior to going to Canaan, and I was in 11 South, and I was in there, and they bring you into the unit, and it's an open unit, and they've got it's an open unit where you all sit around, watch TV, and whatever. But then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7, 8 other units that have 70 guys per unit, but it all opens up into one octagon area where you get your meals and all that, but you go back to your big cell. It's essentially a cell with 70 guys in it with bunk beds, okay, in one open unit, and then it opens up into a big octagon unit where you have your TV, and anybody that's been there knows what I'm talking about. So there was a guy that slept next to me. I was in one bunk, he was next to me, and I used to, for the first days you go there, you don't really say much. You kind of just feel everybody out, see who's who, what's going on. And he slept right next to me. And I used to watch him every morning. He'd get up, and he had a routine, right? I'd see him. He'd go take, just couldn't believe, he'd get up, he'd do his workout. Then he'd go do his thing. He'd comb his hair, and he always had a tan. And I'm saying to myself, wow, a couple of days would go by, and only a couple of days, and I'd say, Jesus Christ, if I were to do big time, this is the guy I would want to learn it from, how to do time, this guy. And just the way he presented himself. And he'd come up to me, what a gentleman. Hey, how you doing? She knew my name, Chicky. And he goes, hey, Chicky, how you doing, buddy? Where are you from? Talk to me. I go, how you doing? Where are you from? And he said, I'm from the Bronx. That's all he told me. I'm from the Bronx. I go, oh, nice. Yeah, I told my family about my family. Yeah, they're from the Bronx. And where they live? Oh, yeah, I know that place. So as the days go on, I'm getting closer and closer. He's calling me when supper comes and dinner. We go get our trays. We come back. He'd say, sit with me, Chicky. And so about a week goes by, and a couple guys from other people come up to me, and they're going, hey, do you know him from the street? And I go, no, I never knew the guy. The guy's a gentleman. He goes, why does he like you so much? I go, I have no idea. I made him laugh a couple times, and a couple of times he gave me Diet Pepsi and Honey Bunnies and things that come in commissary that I needed that I didn't have. So they go, well, you know who that is? I go, no, who is it? He goes, that's the boss. I go, what do you mean that's the boss? Boss of who? He goes, that's Vinny Basciano, Vinny Gorgeous. That's the boss, the acting boss of the Bonanno family. I said, wow. I go, I would never knew that, but it don't matter to me. The guy's a gentleman, right? So the next day, he'd run the stairs every day. He'd run the stairs, and like I said, smile from ear to ear. And if anybody goes on the internet and pulls up any of his pictures, matter of fact, I have a couple on my Instagram channel. It's just like tan, and one picture he's in ADX, Colorado, the worst prison in the country, and he's got a big smile on his face with a tan, and he's like with his hands open, like hey, here I am, like in the Bahamas, and I smile every time I see him. I'm like, oh my God, and the guy is just so. Anyways, we had a lot of fun, and he would joke, and I'll never forget it. So they'd be playing pinochle at night, and it'd be me. Right next to me was the guy from the Bronx as well. He was an Albanian. They called him. This is them calling him, not me. The paper called him. They were part of the thing called the Corporation, and he was Alex Rudai, and he was the godfather of the Albanians from the Bronx. I mean, these guys were the heavy hitter Albanians. At the time, they had just got like 387 months, and their charges. This is the charge. It was on the papers. Were extorting the Gambino family. That was his charge. Okay, so. And this is all public knowledge. And back, whenever this was, it must have been, I was in 2006, 7. So right around there. And that was the charge. And they were in jail for a couple of years already. And they ended up getting 387 months. All the Albanian guys, Nicky, they had the whole crew there. So it'd be me and Alex next to each other, and then on the other side would be Lenny. I think his name Lenny Coletti from the Bronx. He was another big shot, and Vinny Basciano next to him, and we'd laugh, and it'd be like you just couldn't believe it. And they would joke to each other, "Hey, on the street, you'd be running from me." Vinny would say, and Alex would say, "You'd be running from me," and they're laughing back and forth. Meanwhile, they're playing cards and nothing mattered, but that honey bunny and the coffee.
Yeah,
So me and these guys, it was just incredible. And we go on. We used to go twice a week out on the roof at MCC Manhattan. You do your exercising on the roof, and on the roof of MCC Manhattan, FBS is where Joe Mazzino wore the wire on Vinny Basciano. You know what I mean? Walking the track. They have a little track with a basketball thing, and I guess that's where from what I understand, from what I hear from the news, that's where Vinny had talked to Joe, being the boss, and Joe had it wired. Joe had it was wired up on the roof, and poor Vinny. It is what it is. So I'm there about 2 months. And I told the story before, but it's so good. I'm there about 2 months, and on a Monday comes along, and I want to get out of there. Anybody that's been to that joint, it's just like a dead place. You just sit all day. There's nothing to do. So they're telling me when you get up to a federal joint, you'll be out on the compound. You can go around, go where you want to go. They got church. They got walking yard. They got whatever, gym. So I said, all right. So a Monday morning, 5:30, they say, pack it up. Cecchetelli, pack it up. So I pack all my stuff, and the guards take it. So that next day, Vinny goes, what happened? I go, they told me to pack it up. I gave him everything. He goes, did you keep any food? I go, no, why would I? I'll give it to you if you want it. He goes, no. Just because they tell you to pack it up, it might be 2 or 3 days before you go. I said, are you kidding me? I gave everything, my sheets, my blankets. I said, this is real nice. So anyways, he was right. Come Monday night, Tuesday, I'm starving. I go, Vinny, you were right. I don't want to be a grubber none, but you got anything I can eat? He goes, oh, and he would bust my balls. He go, oh, big shot, Chicky. Give all your stuff away. Now you want something. And I'd laugh. And he goes, here, take anything you want. This is the kind of guy. Open up his box, his lockbox, say, tunas. Take it, whatever. Take what you want, right? Whatever. This is what kind of guy he was. I mean, what an impression on me for only knowing the guy a couple months. And so a lot of fun with the guy. So now 2 days later, they call him, Cecchetelli, pack it up. Let's go. So, okay, now I'm leaving. It's 5:30 in the morning. I am leaving. Everybody, you hear the guy yelling, pack it up. So Vinny's next to me, and I shake his arm, and I go, Vinny, I'm leaving. He goes, whoa. He's all out of it. His hair's up into the moon. I go, I'm leaving. Oh, you're going now? Yeah. He goes, wait a minute. I'm going to walk you out. So he gets up. He twitches little, they give you these stupid sandals in jail that are orange. It's terrible.
Oh.
So he throws them on, and he's walking out. So he goes, wait a minute. And he yells across the octagon, like where all the people are, but they're all sleeping. He yells into another part of the jail, like where you could get out. Hey, Alex was there. And he goes, Alex, Chicky's leaving. So here comes Alex out of his part with his hair up to the moon, and they're walking, their eyes are closing because they just woke up. So I said, go to bed. You don't got to come. This how, not that I did anything with them, but they were just gentlemen. This is the kind of guys I became friendly with. So they walked me out, and they're bringing me to us. It's called a Sally Port, where they lock you in and they shut the doors, and you're in there by yourself, and the next part of the jail opens up for you to go.
Yeah.
So God is if I wanted to, I couldn't make this up. So Vinny goes, Chicky. As I'm going out, I shake his hand. Now, Vinny was at the time facing 2 death penalty cases. So I gave him a hug, and I go, Vinny, good luck. I don't know what's going on. I hear things, but good luck with everything. Maybe you never know. Maybe you got a shot. And he goes, Chicky, thank you. And Alex, the same thing. Alex had just got sentenced to 387 months, like 3 days prior. And I said, Alex, good luck. Maybe you can get it turned over. And thank God, kudos to Alex, because I heard through a mutual friend that he just got 15 years taken off his sentence within the last 3 years. So he's going to be out in a few years. So instead of being out in 15 more years, he'll be out in 2 more years. So good for him. He'll go back to his family. He's got wife and young kids, and good for Alex, But so Vinny says to me, hey, Chicky, I wish I knew you on the street. We could have ate dinner. You would have had me pissing my pants every night. And I swear to God, I says, I didn't even skip a beat. I says, Vinny, not for nothing. I'm going to do a small peanut bid for bookmaking. You're facing 2 death penalty cases. Vinny, I'm glad I didn't know you're on the street. He starts laughing hysterical. 5:30 in the morning, he goes, you're right. Get the hell out of here. And then Alex gives me a little shove or push in the back, laughing, and he pushes me to go. And that's the last time I ever seen them guys, except for, social media. People get pictures of them in the jail and stuff. But you want to talk about serious guys and gentlemen, true gentlemen. And that was just one story. I could tell you 10 stories like that up in Canaan. I was with a guy, Ralphie Famora, who was just doing 37 years. He was just coming down from doing 37 years. He was there since the 80s. He was one of the Sicilian guys that were married to the big shots. He was part of that Brooklyn Pizza Connection case. And he was married to one of the big shot in Italy's daughters. And he used to come from Sicily to Brooklyn to work out the particulars of whatever they were doing. I was not sure big on the case, but it was a huge Brooklyn Pizza Connection case. And he was with me for the whole time. He was with me, he was with me a good 6 months, right next to me. And what a gentleman, Ralphie Famora. And he had a couple years to go, and he was getting out after doing 30 years, 28 years, I think, 30 years he got out doing. That's what he did, 30 years. So the sentence had to be, a lot more. And so these are the people you're around and you meet. And anybody that's in the federal system will tell you, no, absolutely, you do meet these guys. And they're out there and they're walking the track and they're playing. If you're going to play bocce, they're there. Whatever you want to do, if you want extra food in the kitchen, they're there, tomatoes, whatever. And if you got a good personality and they like you, they're going to come around you, and it's not like you're swapping war stories about shit that didn't happen on the street and bullshitting each other, because you don't do that. It's all about meeting, laughing, doing good time together and laughing and enjoying each other's company. That's all it's about,
Yeah.
And so I got a lot of guys like me in that way, as far as, whatever it may be. Like I tried to play, they had football, you could play football if you wanted to. And I played football for a couple months, and I wasn't that good, and the old Italian guys from New York and the different guys that were in my unit with me would sit on the bleachers, and they'd have these guys, these big African-American guys that thought they were playing for like LA Rams, but they were playing for the jail team, and they wanted to cripple they wanted to really hurt the Italian guys. And it was so funny because I was the hiker and I used to hike the ball. And every time I hiked the ball, this guy like 6'6", 300 pounds, he wouldn't even let me get my face up to block him. He would hit me like a steam truck and really bang, hit me where I was like literally almost knocked out a couple times. So finally I go, buddy, want to slow the F down? I go, we're not trying out for, we're not trying out for a professional football. We're only playing a little gimme game over here. I played for Penn State, college. I played for Penn State. I go, buddy, I don't know if you played for Penn State. You might have played for the state Penn, but you didn't play for Penn State. And I bust their balls. And then the old guys would yell from the sidelines, these 85-year-old guys that are doing life in prison. They would scream. It was so funny because now I'm laughing, but they would scream to all the African-American guys, leave Chicky alone, leave our guy alone, and we'll put you in a trunk, busting balls back to him, right? And I'm laughing, they're laughing, and even the guys are laughing that are hitting me. And so it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. And like I said, these guys that are doing big time and guys that did do big time, nothing but respect for them guys. It really is. It's not a joke. And like I said, it is what it is. But so like I said, we went back to that, met a lot of good people. I got out. I kept in contact with a lot of them, writing their wives, writing their friends. How's he doing? Doing good. Boom, boom, boom. And then Vinny, I had somebody write Vinny a couple times. Hey, Vinny, you need anything? Blah, send it. And the person I had do it, they always sent the mail back to him. He never got the letters. And then I had found out after that something had happened. I'm not sure exactly, so I don't want to talk about it, but something had happened with Vinny and where he couldn't receive mail. He couldn't even receive government mail for like 2 or 3 years of after that. So I don't know what happened, but he literally had his letter sent back to him. He couldn't receive mail or phone calls.
Was that when he was in ADX?
Yes, that's something with ADX and something that supposedly he wrote a letter and it was a crazy letter and it was his fingerprint, some bullshit. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was ADX, but he couldn't. People in ADX receive mail. They just do it through a screen. He couldn't even receive it through a screen. So I don't know exactly what happened, but for a couple of years he couldn't even have contact to the outside world. Maybe more than a couple years, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of situations like that going on at ADX.
Right.
People are basically cut off from
from civilization, really from anything. And then and like I said, so I come back in my area and a lot of things were just different. And I'm not going to get into particulars, but they were just different. And then also from my area, which I bring up his name and just because I want to bring it up for a reason. And I talked to you about this earlier today, but we grew up with a kid in my neighborhood, 2 brothers, and they knew us all. I mean, I worked with one of the brothers, Freddie and Ty G is. and they're from our area. They grew up along with all of us, knew all of us. And Freddie G is, and the only reason I bring the name up is because he's been in the hole in Hazleton, West Virginia for over 3 years. BOP put him in the hole over 3 years for allegedly, and when I say allegedly, it's been over 3 years. He has not been charged with the Whitey Bulger murder. They said that he had a hand in killing Whitey Bulger, which I think is completely ridiculous because in 3 years, the BOP has not charged him. Why is he still in the hole? So, I mean, not for nothing, but they should at least free the kid. Put him back in population. You're not going to charge him, obviously. It's been over 3 years. Let the kid out of the hole. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous to be in a hole for 3 years pending BOP investigation. And also another kid, I guess he is out of the hole from what I heard, but they moved him to another prison, is a kid named Paulie DiColangelo, who's another good kid from Massachusetts. And I guess allegedly they said him and Freddie went in Whitey Bulger's cell, right when it popped open in the morning. And, I think it's bullshit. I mean, you never know. Whitey Bulger was an 85, 90-year-old guy. He was all, he could have got up in the morning, fell, banged his head. You don't know what could have happened. Sometimes they put these bad things on people. It's just disgusting. But so as far as that, like I told you, he grew up in our area. We knew him good. Had a lot of funny stories with Freddie. A lot of funny stories with Freddie. And the only reason I bring it up now is just, please say prayers for him, whatever. Get him out of the hole. It's ridiculous. Put him back in population or charge him. I mean, come on, 3 years now without charging the kid sitting in a hole. It's not right. It's not right. So that's all I got to say on that. So, so fast forward, Chris. Fast forward. Meeting a lot of positive people, a lot of people that, were in their life at one time and, in a whole nother stratosphere than me and the guys that met them. But, just met some good guys and they were doing some different shows and we got to be friendly with him. And he's got some great things going, which is John Gotti Jr. And like I said, never knew him in that life. I'm glad, never knew him in that life. I didn't know him till way, way after. We used to go watch his son, John Gotti III, the MMA fighter, fight. And that kid is what a gentleman of a kid, humble. And believe me, if anybody knows the kid is such a nice kid. And he works out all day. He cares about being the best at what he does. And, his dad is his manager, I guess, and he has good people around him training and everything. So good for him and good for, John with all the things he got going with his son and the MMA world and a lot of other things too, which I won't get into now. That's Angel's secret. She'll tell that secret. But just a lot of incredible things coming up in the next couple of weeks. And, I'm happy for the kid. I really am. And, so they did he's doing a show, and the only reason I bring it up, and I'll tell you, there's a couple of things I want to bring up if it's all right, FPS. But we're doing a show, getting into more positive stuff now. But John Jr., Johnny Gotti's doing a show, Witsec Mafia. And what happened was, can you hear me?
Yeah, your whole sound.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know something happened here with the computer. So Johnny Gotti's Jr. is doing a show, Witsec Mafia, and that's a whole nother thing. When that comes out, it's going to be huge. Everybody's going to love it. It's incredible. And friends from my area were actually in Witsec Mafia. They flew down to Miami, Brian Hoyle and Damian Trites. They flew down to Miami and they were in the show. And I guess they were down there about a week. And unfortunately, due to my luck, they went down, I believe it was about probably around a year ago. And I was under, at the time, picking up this thing that I had nothing to do with. I picked up a federal indictment where I couldn't leave the state. So, I believe wholeheartedly that I would have been with him down there in one way or another doing something. But due to me not going, I wasn't able to, which it is what it is. Other things happen for other reasons. So I bring that up. And I also bring up Damien and Brian wrote a script called Hungry Hill about one of the neighbors I grew up in, that tough Irish neighborhood with the Italians and everything. And it just got picked up. It just got funding. And that's another show that's going to start shooting where we did the pilot. We did some of the pilot. We did like a teaser, but the pilot's going to be coming up and we got funded for it. So that's going to be huge too. And then, so the way I'm telling you about it is everything is positive, moving positive. last November, myself and Brian Hoyle were in a major motion picture. It got shot, and the producer, the company that's putting up the money, and the producers of the company is called Appian Way. And Appian Way is a company that's owned and operated by Leonardo DiCaprio. And the lead in the role is James Matteo from the Bronx. He was in Basketball Diaries. He was the young Italian kid that was with Mark Wahlberg and Leonardo DiCaprio, their best friend there, the little small guy that always hung around with them when they were kids. Yeah. He's an older man now, and older young man. And so he's the lead role. He plays Willie Pep. And Willie Pep is a professional fighter, had 226 professional fights. He was from Hartford, Connecticut area in the 1940s and 50s into the 60s. And he was a very, hung around with a lot of Italian underworld guys, but he was an incredible fighter. He went into the Basketball Hall of Fame in I think it was around 1990. He went into the Basketball Hall of Fame. And so they did a movie on his life. And, so I had gone down there. We, Damien and me, went down there early. Some guy that we knew, a guy named Jay Gioni from Los Angeles, who's friends with Mark Wahlberg and them guys, said, "Hey, come down. We're shooting a film. Maybe we can use you. Maybe he'll see you. We can use you as a back extra or something." So I ended up going down there, and I ended up taking 4 or 5 guys to lunch. During a lunch break, we took them to lunch. We were having a lot of fun, and I met this James Matteo, and he's seen me, and I'm a big guy. Anybody knows me sees I'm a big guy. And I made him laugh, and I had a pretty good presence. So he says, "You know what? Forget about using you." He goes, "Forget about using you as like in a background, sitting in a boxing ring or whatever." He goes, "Come Monday, and you guys come, and I'm going to use you in the movie." I said, "Are you serious?" He goes, "Just come Monday." Now, a break like that don't come every day. That's something you got to be in the right spot at the right time and just get lucky. So I end up showing up Monday. That Monday morning, we have a good day. Monday morning, I end up showing up. He tells me, we have, they have the dressing cart, real professional movie. I mean, filming. It's got craft carts. It's got the makeup trailer. It's got the trailer with all the old 1960 clothes. So he said, "Just show up and we'll have the clothes for you." And I said, "Well, I got tattoos." They said, "Don't worry about it. You go in makeup." And on my Instagram, you see him taking all the tattoos off me with makeup. What a process, FBS. What a process to go through this. And so we show up Monday. And now the new thing with these films and movies is as soon as you go into the set, you got to test for COVID. So
is this the one, not to cut you off, but is this the one where they're taking the tattoo?
Yes. Okay, that's James Matteo on the right there in the blue. He's the one that's in Basketball Diaries. He was in Hook with Robin Williams. He was in Band of Brothers, Godfather of Harlem, right on the right. That's him getting his makeup, and that's me with the glasses and the black sweater. They're taking the lady with the shirt in front of me is taking all my tattoos off with makeup.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good picture. And so that morning, I happened to bring a good friend of mine, Brian Hoyle, who's Damien's partner in Hungry Hill. I said, "Come on down, Brian, see what it looks like to be in a movie. See what's going on." And he ends up coming down. So we're there in 2 minutes, and we're all testing for COVID. So Damien's the first one that goes. He turns around. He goes, "I tested positive for COVID. I got to leave the set." They won't even let him watch. They said, "You got to leave right now." That's how serious COVID is. So he walks off the set. He's got to leave. So me and Brian stay there, and the guy James Matteo just saw the picture in the blue thing on, comes up to us and he goes, "Okay, your scene's going to go about now. It's like 9:30, 10:30 in the morning." He goes, "Set's going to go about 2, 3 in the afternoon." So he goes, "Just go upstairs and sit and watch how it's done." So at this time, I don't know I'm going to be a talk role. He said we're going to be in the movie, but me and him end up doing a literally talk in the movie, a talk with this James Matteo. So you're talking a lead actor's talking to me and Brian in the real movie. We're talking a lead role part. Yeah. So 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they come get us. They bring us down to filming. It's what an experience. You want to talk about the real deal with the big cameras and the fake smog and the smoke. It's incredible. And they redid an old Polish like almost like a Polish, where they have drinks and they go, a lot of the Polish soldiers go and drink. They turn this into an old-fashioned boxing ring from the 1950s with all the old-fashioned boxing gloves and everything. So we go in there. They got us all dressed up in the old clothes. Willie Pep, who's played by James Matteo, is in his old-fashioned, that blue, another better, like the thing a boxer wears with the old-fashioned gloves. And I won't give away too much, but he speaks into the camera and he's talking to the fake camera from the 1950s. And he turns around in the scene, and I didn't even know he was going to do it, but after 6 times of redoing it, I knew he was going to do it after that. But he turns around, and he don't use a fake name. He don't use a made-up name. He talks in the camera, and then while they're filming live, he turns around and punches me in the stomach, fooling around, because he's supposed to be my good friend in the show, and I'm like the bookmaker of the gym of where they hang around. He turns around, he gives me a punch in the stomach, and he goes, "What do you think's going to happen today, chick?" He actually says Chick, my name. So in the movie, you're going to hear the name Chick, not a fake name. And and I say my line. I go, "What do you want me to say?" He goes, "Just think the same name. Think first thing that comes to your mind." So I do say whatever I say. I go, "You're going to get him, champ." I go, "This is the 227th and last." I made up something. So he goes, "Can you remember what you just said?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're going to have to say it 6 more times." I go, "Okay." And 6 more times they go, "Okay, do it." Okay, cut, print. And they did it 6 more times. And then my friend Brian has such a deep voice. And someday he'll be on the show when Hungry Hill comes out, because he's a great guest and he'll tell you all about Hungry Hill and how that's going. He's really good, but he's got a wicked, wicked deep voice. Like when he talks, it's like, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?" And it's just his natural voice. It's just the way he is. So as soon as they heard his voice, they go, "Listen, you're not going nowhere. We're using you in this set too." And he's actually the guy in the movie, and he's a bald guy. And like I said, I won't get into too much now, but Gotti 2's coming up, and that's going to be shot in Marion, Illinois. And I don't want to put things out of the bag yet, but Brian is going to have a major thing in that. But I don't want to let him announce that when the time's right. But he's going to play a good part in that show. But I don't want to get into that. But anyways, he's a good actor. He's a great actor, and so he leads Willie Pep out to his final and last fight, his 227th fight, when he fought for the title. And he leads them out, and he has his deep voice, and he says a couple lines like, "Let's go, you ready to walk, boys?" And, he says some good parts, and he walks Willie Pep out to the final fight. So I'm just saying, basically, from a crazy life, living a crazy life from a kid all the way up through prison and through this and divorces. And it's just like I'm just changing a lot of the people. I'm around positive people. I'm around people that, don't get me wrong. The people I'm around, they say, listen, and they tell me, and I agree with them. We'll still root for the bank robber to get away from a bank robbery. We still will. But in 2022, I mean, never mind 2022. I could go back many years ago, but it's over. It's over, Chris. I mean, when you got guys that come on YouTube and they cooperate, and I don't even have to mention names. Everybody knows they're out there. If you got guys that go and cooperate against people, and they put guys' families away, and people who die in prison, and not only one in particular family, they destroyed the father. The guy destroyed 46 other people that he put away for life, and 19 murders that people know about. And then he can go on YouTube and, have 500,000 people watching them, and just, I mean, if that's not a wake up call, not only him, I could name 10 of them. But if that's not a wake-up call to let you know that life's over, then so the mission I'm putting forward pretty much is, why wait until I'm facing life in prison? Why wait till people become rats, right? Why wait till people end up dead? Why don't they just see the writing on the wall ahead of time and say, you know what, I'm all set. Let me walk away. And don't get me wrong. I'm not walking away at any level comparison to a lot of other guys. I'm not saying that. But the message is the same, Chris. Positive. Be around positive people. Do positive things in life. It is what it is. The government wants you to believe, and it's the truth. You either go to jail and die, you cooperate, or you kill yourself or whatever. Them are the only 3 options. And no, if you're going to wait till the end of the day, them are going to be your only 3 options. But why wait? Just see the writing on the wall and bow out with your head held high, and then whatever you choose to do. I got a book right now being written. Like I said, depending on what happens with this thing, I pleaded guilty December 9th. December 7th, I pleaded guilty, and I get sentenced March 17th. It might be March 17th or a week after March 17th, because my attorney has a big trial on that week. But and then we're going to see what happens. Like I said, the guidelines ain't very big. It's only, they only could charge me with ammunition, which is a joke in itself. It's a nonviolent. There's another nonviolent, where I know people in my area that got violence, extortion, and they got 3 or 4 months for extortion. And I might be, doing triple that time just for having a couple bullets under my bed, bullets. And that was a whole nother thing. What they had come in for something nothing to do with me, but it is what it is. And they found a gun and bullets. But federal says that if the gun never left the state of Massachusetts or any state that you're in, and they can't prove it did, then you only can be charged with ammunition. Well, my gun was a Smith & Wesson, which everyone knows Smith & Wesson factories in Springfield, Mass. So when the ballistics came back, the gun was never shot. It was never fingerprinted, no fingerprints, and the gun was never taken out of Massachusetts. It was they had no record of it being out of Mass. It was from Smith & Wesson in Springfield to my address in Springfield. That's all they had. So in a case like that, no matter who you are, it's federal law. It's federal law. If they cannot charge you, if they can't prove the gun left the state, they only can charge you with ammunition. And that's not a big thing. It's only I was a convicted felon in lieu of ammunition, and we tried to fight it. Me and my lawyers. I had a great law team, attorney Dan Hagan and Dan Kelly, two of the best lawyers in New England, all in New England, especially Western Mass. And my guy is not only my attorney, he's my dear friend Dan Hagan. He wanted to keep fighting it. We put in a motion to suppress. We put in a motion to dismiss. Nothing worked. But it's okay. So December 7th, I pleaded guilty. And like I said, I get sentenced March 17th or a week after that. And like I said, there's no guidelines, minimum mandatory, but the guidelines roughly are 6 months to a year and a half. And I got 3 months already in that they held me for 3 months back in January of 2019 to 2020. So I got 3 months good time in. So whatever happens. And, like I said, I'll go in, I'll lose weight, work out, I'll write, I'll keep writing. And when I come out, I got great positive things on the back burner between the movie and other projects coming up. And it's all about staying positive, Chris,
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I wish
you
luck on that case.
Yeah. Thank you. And like I said, that's another thing I'll get into. I'll take if you got questions in a minute, but I just tell you, that's another thing. When I come out, that'll be a whole nother genre, because by then I will talk about some things that went down in that arrest. And it's incredible. The things I went through in a 2-month period with the people that were around, good people, really good people I was around. And just a shame how some of them really, really got railroaded and there's nothing they could do. And ones that are close to me, ones that are in my family, got railroaded, and they got hit with that RICO. And that RICO, they can put you away for nothing. You don't have to get found with one thing, not money, not drugs, not guns, not nothing. And they can put you away for 20 years like it's water. And they don't have that. You don't have to get found with one thing. And that's welcome to the RICO law, Mr. Giuliani.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame. It really is. I always said if they can't find a way to convict you, they'll just create a law.
Absolutely.
That's what they did. I want to ask you this. This is actually a funny question for a lot of reasons. Joey Dimes wants to know if you have an Omerta tattoo.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Does anybody fuck with you about yours? Because they fuck with me about mine.
No, you know what? This is what I tell them, and I'm there. So I got it on my chest. I got it across my chest, and I got it on my hand. But you got to understand something. When I got them, and I'll be honest with you, now, do I still believe in it? 100%. Would I have thought maybe not to put it on my hand when I was a teenager and did it? Yeah, probably. But do anybody abuse me about it? No. And if anybody does, I take it with a grain of salt, But the bottom line is I do believe in that. I do believe in that, and I believe it until the day I die, and that's why I'll bow out with my head held high. Then, if I've got that, if I ever became an informant, I'd have a big problem because it's tattooed over everywhere. Would I have to exit out if I became one? So I think it'd be better off to just to pull out and call it a day with my head high. No.
Oh, I hear you, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, I do. I do have it, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah. You want me to put some of these pictures up here?
Yeah. Go ahead. I can tell you as we go what's going on with them or whatever.
All right. Here's one from the.
Yeah. There's the show right there. There's right there Willie Pep boxing biopic star, and there's James Madio. The guy on the left is the one I did the in the lead role. He's the lead role. I just was in a scene with him. I'm not gonna. He's been an actor his whole life. And them are some of the other guys. I didn't meet them other guys, but they were in the movie prior to me. Like they shot for about a month. I wasn't there for the whole month.
Yeah.
And Leonardo DiCaprio is. If you see it, you'll see it. And there's the guy who plays Rocky Marciano on the left, and there's Willie Pep on the right. James Madio. That's yeah, right there. The guy who plays Rocky Marciano's on the left. Looks just like him.
We already
Yep.
did the one of you on the set. Let me see. This is
Yep.
the one right here with Leonardo.
Okay, that's
DiCaprio.
no, that's a picture that doesn't have to do with the movie, but that's Leonardo DiCaprio sitting on an F4 in Westover Air Force Base, about 15 minutes from my house, with another star. But that was him. That was in our area, flying in our area. They landed at Westover Air Force Base. That's Leonardo DiCaprio, but that wasn't part of the movie. But he is the you know, the guy who runs and is the executive producer of Appian Way, who is the one that put up everything for you know, for this picture. And he's got direct ties in this picture, and you know, he knows all about it and makes a lot of decisions on this movie.
All right, here's the next one. This is from.
Oh yeah,
Is
that's
this about the current case?
Yeah, that's I believe that's Ed Scarpo. Yeah, Ed Scarpo. That was La Cosa Nostra News or something. They've been coming out everywhere, but yeah, this is the latest one. I think a couple weeks ago. Yeah, Optimism. Yeah, that's you know, basically the new case. And once I go do what I got to do with a new case, I'll come out, and I got a lot of great things in the forefront. So that's basically what that is. It's in La Cosa. I think it's LaCosaNostraNews.com.
Okay. And here are some prison pics of you.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm, believe it or not, a lot thinner, but I'm on the right with the sunglasses. They're regular glasses. They look sunglasses, but they wouldn't let me in there if it wasn't. They're my regular glasses. And that's funny because Vinny Basciano used to bust my balls in prison. Like, Chicky, what are you, a big shot? You get to wear the glasses and we don't, but they were a prescription, you know. And that's me on the right with the, you know, right in the right with the glasses. Next to me to the left is a young kid from a kid in Las Vegas, had the biggest ecstasy ring in the whole country at one point, Danny DeLorenzo. Right next to him in the mustache, that's Ralphie Formora. That's the guy from Sicily from the Pizza Connection. That's the guy I told you did 27 years. He was just finishing up the last couple of years with me. He was getting out after 30 years. And the guy left over next to him was from Hartford, Connecticut, a good friend of mine, Mike Ciarcia. You know, turned his life around. He's got a bunch of car lots, a construction business, is a good guy. And I haven't seen him in a while, but he's doing great. And he got grandkids. And I mean, these guys you meet in prison, the Christmas trees behind us, that was during the Christmas. And like I said, you could spend 2 months with these guys. You could spend 10 years with these guys, and you're brothers for life. That's just the way it is. You know, you're with them 24/7. You know everything about their families. You know they know everything about your family. You know if their kids had a bad day. You know if your kids had a bad day. You just know, you know, you go to each other. Yeah, my wife got mad at me for this. Yeah, my wife got mad at me. You're with them every day. You know, that's how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the next one.
Another good picture. Yeah, that's it. That's behind the wall, the USP Canaan. There's a couple trees they put in front of the wall, and they let you take a picture. You know, on the weekend, like you know, they have a guy coming around and take pictures. And funny story. All the way on the right, the kid who looks like a lawyer. That's what he is. He's about 6'2". The lawyer kid looks like a smiley little face.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, big kid, right on the right, all the way over. He was an attorney for Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson from what's he from?
76ers.
Yeah. Philadelphia. He was out of Philadelphia, this guy. And Allen Iverson's son or nephew got in a big charge years and years ago. And his guy was the lawyer for either the son or the nephew. And they finagled this kid. Allen Iverson hired this kid, big shot attorney. And he went to see the kid at the federal holdup in Philadelphia. And they finagled the kid. I guess they were keeping the two, from what I understand, they were keeping the two people that were co-defendants in the case away from each other because they didn't want them to give each other information on what to tell each other to say. So they say this dummy lawyer goes in there, and one guy repeats it tooth and nail. This is what happened, blah, 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 blah. And then when he left there, somebody got the guy going out and said, listen, now go see this other guy at this other jail and tell him the same thing. And I don't know exactly what happened, but I guess you're not supposed to do that. You know, they were separating the guys because they didn't want them to know the same story, so they couldn't tell the same story. And this guy, so he lost his law license. He lost everything over a stupid mistake, and they put him in Canaan. And then the little short guy, old school. I'll be honest with you. Like I said, he's out of Chicago. He was an old school gangster. He was in that picture. He was probably like 80-something years old when he was with me. I guess he was around forever. He was during like the Sam Giancana era, all of that down there. And I knew him, but I never really knew who he was. But a lot of people, when I got up, said, no, they Wikipedia'd him, and he was an old guy, but he was doing so much time. I think he ended up with 35, 40 years in federal prison. And he was like, he had probably 6, 7 years to go at this point. He was like so institutionalized. He didn't even, nice guy though, quiet. The kid right there, Chris Chris Cecchetelli, he was from South Philly. Ran around with like, from what I understand, like I said, I didn't know him. I only met him in there, but I guess he was with the Joey Molino guys back. He got a pinch for something. He was doing like 4 or 5 years for something. And then of course me on the left, again with the glasses on, prescription. Not trying to be cool by any means, but yeah. So I mean, I got along with everybody. Wherever there was guys around, I hung around and I ate with them. And for more than just one reason, there's a few different reasons. But other than that, I always got, it's pretty sad to say that, I got along with no problem there. Some people have problems. I mean, I go lose weight. I write. I just clear my head. It's a shame. But like I said, there's guys doing a lot of more time than I ever did. And I give them nothing but respect. It's no joke. 10 years, people, these judges are giving out 10 years, 15 years, even 8 years like it's water. It's no joke. I mean, 8 years is no joke. Never mind 10, 15, or 20, or 30. I mean, think back 8 years ago where you were. 8 years is no joke.
No.
10 years is no joke.
Not. Nope.
But respect to all them guys out there.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I showed the prison pictures last.
Yeah, that was cool. That was good. That was really good.
Yeah, it's a good reminder of how things can turn out. But I'm happy for you, Chicky. It seems like you turned everything around.
So far, like I said, a little stutter step right now, but like I said, everything was going good. And like I said, this little stutter step, but it's okay. You know how that works. Sometimes when you're just out of the fog a little bit, you need a little jolt back in just to kind of wake you up a little bit. So that's okay. It is what it is. And I'm just looking forward. I'm very optimistic for the future. And like I said, between Hungry Hill, from the guys that were in it, Woodstock Mafia is going to be incredible. When John A. Gotti Jr. brings that out, Chris Kasparosa, it's going to be incredible. And all the people they got working with that, I think it's just going to be an incredible project. And it's going to open up people's eyes to a lot of things that they really had no clue of until it gets exposed with this. And I just say it's going to be really good. And like I said, there's going to be a huge announcement. Angel's ballpark though. She'll announce that. And good for all involved with that. It's incredible. It's just incredible. And like I said, I wish the kid the best. We've been coming to see him since he first started fighting in New York, and then we've seen him in Hartford. We've seen him a bunch of times in Providence, at Twin River. So we've been right from the beginning. And like I said, the kid has and I'm not just saying it. He could have been. I don't care his name. I don't care whose son he is, or nephew, or cousin. The kid's name could be any name, and he's a really, really gentleman of a kid. He's such a humble kid, and just someday I hope you get to meet him or talk to him, or somebody does, because I'm telling you, you'll be really impressed with what kind of what a gentleman he is, and that's all, And yeah, so that being said, like I said, I go do my thing March 17th or a week after that, give or take a few days. They'll sentence me, and like I said, who knows what it'll be? Maybe I'll get lucky, and if whatever it is, and then we just move on.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to do what you got to do, but it'll go fast.
Yeah,
you know how it is. It's
absolutely. And then I'll come back and do some more shows on the new people I met and what crazy things I've been through.
Bro, you know what? These days, man, a little skid bid just gives you nothing but more material and content.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, like I said, with this YouTube thing you're doing, MobTube, like I said, you that's the first time I ever heard that saying was when you did it. So and nobody else can say anything. That's the first time I ever heard that brought to light is when you did it. And like I said, once things get settled down and I know what's going on, like I said, when I come out done with this case, we got a couple of things in the forefront for some YouTube stuff, and I think it was going to be great. We got a couple of great people going to be involved with it, and we're going to really do a good job. And like I said, it's a bright future. I don't have to. The days are over. The days of over are, looking out the window, and everywhere you go, you're looking in the rearview mirror. Who's following you? Are they following you? You better not go. Them days are played out. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
it's stupid. And now I don't even want to get into the 2022 gangster, what they do. Just it's crazy the kids they got out there today. They just to bring up a point, like the better you do, you got these guys out there and they want to follow you around, and now everything's on camera. Like they'll pull up at a stoplight and they'll start talking nonsense and they'll film you. These guys will actually film you, and you're looking over them and you don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're actually filming you. And then depending on what you say to them, they'll go put it on Facebook, like, oh, look, I'm saying this to him. And it's like people are looking to get you in trouble today. And it's not like the old days where they prevented it. There's people out there today that literally will talk nonsense to you, pray you get mad at them like your old self, and then they're calling your probation officer, a week later saying, look at Chicky, and putting me out there and getting me in trouble. It's just the new age of guys that are out there today. I'm all set. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You can't. I mean, it's funny because I almost know, and I tell my friends this, and I won't get into too much, but I almost know what a like they're fans. Like, in other words, like these movie stars, and I'm not a movie star. I'm just making fun of it. That I almost know what a guy feels like. They get stalked by a fan that's chasing me down with a camera, and he's filming me, screaming stuff out the window. I almost know what that feels like, and I'm nothing. But it just, the guys that are running around there out today that are supposedly, the whack guys and the tough guys, I'm all set. Good luck to them. I'm all set.
I say all the time, like to friends of mine that are still in the street and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be out of your fucking mind to be a criminal these days. You got to be, you know what I mean? It's all.
Or you're prolonging the inevitable, which is going to be a rat or go to jail. Yeah, that's inevitable. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it's not a matter of if, just when.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And there ain't too many guys. Nowadays, there ain't too many guys, especially with these drug charges that have got minimum mandatories. They get caught with that fentanyl and all this crazy shit that's out there now. You're going away for 25. When I was 2.5 months locked up at Wyatt Correctional Facility outside in Rhode Island, outside Providence, Rhode Island. It's the federal holding unit for this area, for New England, like MCC Manhattan is for New York, you guys' area. I was with more kids in there that got caught with this fentanyl shit. I mean, I never was into the fentanyl. I never heard of it, but this is a big thing now. This fentanyl, it's blue or something. They were getting caught with this fentanyl. I guess that they put in all these drugs that kill people. They're killing the people like crazy, and opiate stuff. Yeah. Do you know these guys are facing 20, 30, 15, 20-year sentences, federal, minimum mandatories just for this fentanyl stuff? Not for a lot of it, too, like a little bit of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a guy that sold some dope to a couple. They didn't know it, but at least they claimed to not have known it, but there was fentanyl in it. The husband or boyfriend, whatever, died. And the kid got 28 years.
Imagine that.
For drug delivery resulting in death. Yep. 28
wow.
years.
It's incredible. Absolutely. And like I said, after and let's face it, Giuliani did what he did, like it, don't like it. He set a precedent. He put these RICO laws in effect. And I mean, come on. When that's making Joe Mazzino, the boss of the Bonanno family, been around his whole life, when that's making these top underbosses and these top people turn over, okay, and wipe out complete infrastructures of major families, when is people going to reach in and say, wow, it's over? It really is over. I mean, what are they waiting for to say it? I mean, come on. I'm not the smartest guy in the parade. I'm far from it, but you're not telling me that these guys are not thinking this, Yeah. And all these smart guys, all the smart guys, like all the guys that are still out there, like these heavy hitter guys that with all the different families, like a lot of them are they're not coming around the regular people no more. They're not coming around the soldiers. I mean, you got to go through 4 or 5 people before you can get to them. So they're insulating themselves very well now. The big time guys, and then like before, where you could just walk up on them and talk. Them days are over. So they're getting smarter as far as that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still believe it's pretty much over.
Hey, can I ask you a question now, just to come off track? I know you probably, I know you did talk about it already, but I wanted to ask you, what did you think about, and maybe your audience has some kind of opinion. I want to say a couple of things I feel. What did you think of the of the Sammy the Bull interview with ABC a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I did a whole show on it, bros.
Yeah, I
wanted
know
to
you did.
throw
I'm
up-
just saying, talking like without getting into too much, like just so I can tell you a few things I thought about it, because I didn't chime in on your show. I watched it, but I didn't come in as a a talker.
Yeah, I wanted to throw up. I mean, if I hear him one more fucking time say something like, John was going to make him take the fall or anything
Come
like
on,
that,
come
I'm
on.
going to snap. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And you know what? You know what? Anybody that knows this, it's a very simple question. Number one, let me ask you a question. Okay, do I think John sat in court and said, "We need me on the streets. You're going to take the fall"? Come on, whoever thinks that got to have their head examined. Number one. Number two, okay, the guy never really did any jail time in his life. That's all a fact. Okay, all right.
Yep.
So he did what he did, 8 months at MCC Manhattan before he cracked. Okay. Now here's another thing. If he was so mad at John, remember his famous thing? Well, we played chess and I double checked him or whatever the fuck bullshit thing he said, right? Let me ask you a question. And it was John's fault, like he said, and everything's John. And he went after John with a vengeance. Let me ask you a question. What did the other 46 guys that he put away for life, major crime figures in every single family, what did they do to him? Did they have a secret conversation like John did that no one knows about? And don't listen, in his day, was he a real guy, Sammy? Yeah, he was a real guy. There's nobody saying nothing different. But he can go do a YouTube channel and still yell at people and get mad at people like and I know a lot of it's scripted. He's screaming at that Francesi guy, "I'll come over and bust your face." Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Come on.
Bro, it's fucking ridiculous. It's a circus, bro. It's ridiculous. And I can't fucking stand him.
But who's the real circus it on? Francesi got over 1 million subscribers. Sammy the Bull got over, 600,000, close to, right? Listen,
less than 500.
Whatever. Okay, well, it'll be, believe me, he's building his way up and it's disgusting. But the average Joe Schmo don't care about if a guy was in the life and became a rat. They don't care about that. They want to hear the stories that nobody else will give them. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And that's the way it is. The average Joe Schmo don't care about that. Look at this rapper, and I'm bringing it up in all the interviews. 69, okay?
Tekashi,
come on.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at it. He sells out. I don't know about now, but there was one point he was lately in the last 3 years when he got out of prison. He was selling out, streaming millions of followers and hundreds of thousands in concert. Listen, the average Joe Schmo could give a shit if he ratted out, all these guys he was hanging around with. They could care less, and it's a shame, but that's just the way it is.
Yep. Absolutely, man, without a doubt. Jersey Girl 732-999. Thank you very much. She said, really great show. FBS and Chicky, well done, fellas. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for sharing your story with us, Chicky.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for making time out of your schedule, all you guys, to listen. Like I said, I only could tell my story. I can't tell anybody else's. And you'll notice with me too, I'm not the kind of go on that throws guys' names around. You'll never hear me bring up badmouth people in my area. I'm not into that badmouth and throwing names around. I only could tell my story. The way I tell it, I think it's pretty funny with some serious sides to it. At the end of the day, it's a positive note at the end of the message, and that's what I want. I want it to be positive, and that's what I'm trying to do. But you'll never hear me badmouth anybody except for a few people, but not many. And like I said, that's the way it is. But and all the people people that haven't, just to remind FBS. Please hit subscribe and like. Of all the people that is coming on just to hear and don't know FBS's show, check it out. It's a great show. Subscribe and like, and make sure you hit that subscribe and like again. Anybody that came on just to hear this or whatever, you'll really enjoy his stuff.
Yes, and it's still a secret, but Chicky knows what I have coming Tuesday. So
yes.
I got something big coming Tuesday. So
yeah. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Absolutely.
And listen, there's a lot of secrets coming out in the next week, Tuesday, and maybe by Tuesday, tomorrow's Monday, maybe by midweek or something, there'll be another big secret. Like I said, that's Angel's business. It ain't mine, but she'll announce that, and it's huge. It's absolutely huge, and kudos to all involved in that. And it's just it'll bring things to another stratosphere, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I'm excited for all the news too. Let's see. You want to take some questions?
Absolutely. No matter who they are, put them all on. Whatever, if I can answer them, I will.
All right. Whatever questions you guys have, put them in the comments now. Chicky will be happy to answer.
Absolutely.
Let's Let's see. This is funny. Boston Red too. Let's see what we got. Tony's food truck said, "Chicky, what's up, man? What happened to Damien?"
Damien's around. Damien's doing good. Damien's that matter of fact, Damien's listening right now. He's been really busy. We got Witsec. He's got Witsec coming up with Brian Hoyle. Hungry Hills coming up. It's just a matter of me getting through my legal stuff, and then we're gonna go from there with a lot of stuff in the future. Damien's doing good. I was with him the other day. He's doing good. He's doing really good. He got a good job. He's just grinding through, waiting until all the good stuff starts happening.
That's good. Yeah, I know he's taking a break a little bit from here. I don't blame him.
Hold on. Can you hear me, Chris? Or it's not good.
No, I can hear you fine.
Okay, hold on, buddy. I'm just come just fix myself. Hold on.
No problem.
Hold on, buddy. You're coming in clogged, like a little bit cloggy. Hold on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hold on.
Sounds like you're having a little feedback issue.
Yeah. It's getting. You know what? Do you want me to go out and come back in?
Well, it sounds fine now. How do I sound?
All right. I don't get to be able to hear you, but let me shut off my mic and shut my mic off and then come back in. I'll hit it back on.
All right.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, better. Okay, good. Perfect. Okay.
All right. How long are you going away for? I thought you said, but Miss Can't Be Wrong wants to know how long.
Right now, well, like I said, there's no minimum mandatory. The guidelines could go from 6 months to a year and a half, and I've got almost 3 months in. So it could be house arrest. It could be right to the halfway house, or it could be 6 months, a year in, and then come out. I don't know exactly. I won't know until mid-March. Whatever it is. My lawyer tells me one thing, the prosecutor tells me another. It's up in the air. So right now it's up in the air, but anywhere from 6 to 15 months.
All right, so either you can come back on and update us, or let me know, and I'll update everyone.
Absolutely. You know what we can even do if if whatever does happen, if I do go away, I'll get your number and I'll call from in there and tell you who I'm with, from inside the place. You can just do it however you do it on your cell phone and put it up to your live.
That would be fucking phenomenal, Chicky. Absolutely. Common Sense wants to know, did you ever meet Tony Volpe?
Yes, Tony Volpe was a good friend of mine. Of course I met Tony Volpe. Let me tell you a funny thing good thing you brought his name up. Tony Volpe was a great guy. Tony Volpe operated out of Hartford, Connecticut. He was best friends with my mentor, Al Bruno. He owned a bar in Hartford. We used to go there all the time. Tony Volpe used to hang around with a couple bigger sized guys, not bigger in stature. Althea, a bunch of guys from my friend that was in the prison picture with me, Mike Ciarcia from Connecticut. That was Tony Volpe's guy, his go-to guy. You want to show that? Can you show that picture again? That prison picture of in the color with the guy from the. Okay, see the guy on the left with the green pants and the gray sweatshirt, all the way to the left with the goatee.
Yep,
that's Mike Ciarcia from Connecticut. Tony Volpe was his guy. That was his guy, and that's how we got close. As soon as they called us in, I went and got him. I was in already, and they made me come and get him to bring him to my cell. And the guard says, "You guys know Tony Volpe," and that's how we hooked up. So that's how we knew the same people. Tony Volpe was a great guy. And another thing about Tony Volpe, you're funny, is Tony Volpe in the movie I'm in, Pep, What a Small World. The movie I'm in, Pep. Tony Volpe was the Italian guy that hung around and was the guy like I'm playing now. Was the guy with the Willie Pep in the 1950s and 60s. He was around the real Willie Pep in Hartford. That was the guy, Tony Volpe. Now, fast forward to now. So basically, I'm playing a heavier version of Tony Volpe. You know what I'm trying to say? Nowadays, which is kind of crazy in itself, Yeah, Tony Volpe was a good guy. Yeah, we also knew. I didn't know him personally, but the guy, Billy Grasso from New Haven, William the Animal Grasso, who actually, and this is court papers, it's not like I'm giving out secrets, he actually was killed by the guys in my area. Guys from my area that were made guys that actually were part of the hit team that killed him. And another guy that just got out of prison, did 30-something years, who was actually the guy that actually shot William the Animal Grasso because he was too crazy. You know, I mean, if you get too crazy, that's not a good thing either because they get intimidated by you and they want you out of the picture. And yeah, that was another guy from New Haven, a different family, but still, they were all good guys. And but Tony Volpe, I met several times. Really, really good guy. He's passed away now.
Yeah. Boston Red 2 wants to know what your relationship with Anthony A was before he ratted.
What before what? Before what do you mean? What relationship we were friends with?
Yeah, before he ratted, yeah.
We were friends.
Aralotta?
Yeah, we were friends probably 5-6 years old, all the way through. He was the one that took over for Bruno. I mean, at the time we didn't know what happened, but he was the one that took over for Bruno. He was a lot of the fights I brought up, a lot of the fights I talked about with the bar fights, he was right there with me. Yeah, his mother and father were like a second mother and father to me. His sisters were a second sister to me. Yeah, I mean, we were very, very close our whole life, you know. And it's just the whole chain of events that happened. It's too bad. People can go on Facebook and go on Instagram and pull that up on themselves. But at the end of the day, it's just the whole chain of events that led to it and the chain of events after. It's just really it's just really too bad. The whole scenario is too bad. But like I said, he's got his own story and just the whole thing is really crazy. But it is what it is. Yeah, we were very, very close.
Yeah. Well, what can you do now, right?
Yeah, it's tough. You know, it's just a very tough thing.
Yeah. K-Mac wants to know, and you probably won't want to answer this. Are the Irish still active over your way?
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. I won't get into too much, but they're very well respected. Whether they're active, I don't really think that a lot of people are active anymore with all this craziness going on in the world. But let's say they're very well respected.
Okay. Yeah, that's enough there. John DeLuca wants to know if you know Rooster.
Yeah, I won't bring him up. He's still around. Yeah, Rooster's a good guy. Rooster's a very good guy. And yeah, he's out of prison and he's doing well. And that's all I'll say about him. Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. Somebody asked where Anthony Grasso is.
To be honest with you, let me see. It's 9:33. He's probably at the Connecticut. Has got legal gambling now. He might as well get a blanket and just sleep there. He hasn't left the legal gambling place by Bradley International Airport since he's been on your show. And
Jesus,
he's funny. We go out to dinner we go out once a week for lunch, and we go to fancy places. And if you go on, I don't know if you're following. If you go on Instagram, any of your followers, I'm not just saying this for me. You'll laugh your guts off. On Instagram, I go by official _ and then my name, Chicky, and then my last name, Cecchetelli. And I got a couple of them, but Instagram keeps kicking me off. I had up to 10,000 at one time followers. They kicked me off. So the one I got now is official _ Cecchetelli, and it's got like 2,700, 2,800 followers. But it's funny. But that's a life of me. I'm with Grasso. We film it, and just last week we did our picks for the Super Bowl. And let me just give you a little inside info. I was a bookmaker a lot of years. Grasso, one loss. He's he's killing it again now. He's up real big. How long that's going to last, I don't know. But LA Rams Super Bowl. Okay, they're going to be roughly -4, 4.5, and I'm going to say under and over. It's hard right now. I would stay away from that. But if you want to take a teaser, take LA Rams. I'm sorry, not LA Rams. LA Rams, right? Hold on a second. Yeah, LA Rams and the under. Take LA Rams and under in a teaser. Kill it. Put whatever you can put on a teaser. LA Rams in the under. And I'm going to give you, now this is for your audience. Okay, now remember this. You're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm going to give you the final score of the Super Bowl before it even ends. Okay? All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The score of the Super Bowl is going to be LA Rams. Wrote it down just for you. Hold on. 28-20. It's going to land right in the middle, the 48, but it's going to be LA Rams LA Rams 28-20. Now remember that. You're going to think I'm crazy, but if it ever comes out close to that, you'll say Chicky said it first.
28-20.
Yep. So it's going to be 2 touchdowns, right? And then two 3-pointers.
So if I want to get like 1 million views, I could just rename this show Super Bowl Prediction.
Absolutely. As long as I get enough to go out to dinner with Grasso to a steak joint.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. 28-20. All right.
28-20 is the final. Take LA Rams. I was going to say take the under, but I think it's going to be too close because the under right now is 48.5. And you know how that works. If both at the end of the game, both scores are singled out, you know, it's got to go under the points. So right now I'm getting 28-20 to be 48 points. It lands right in the middle. So, you know, right there, you'd be under, but it's too close. So if you want to take a teaser just to have fun, take so instead of minus 4, 4.5, it would go up, you know, they go up a half a point. So it'd be 5. So you get the LA Rams +2, and then you would go up from 48.5. You'd go up. You would go up more than 3. I think on a thing you get 6. Yeah, you get 6. So you go up 48, 51, 52. So it'd be under 54. That's a hell of a teaser. LA Rams in the under.
All right.
But the score is going to be 28-20 LA Rams. Remember, you heard it here first.
All right, good. That's a perfect way to end this show.
Yeah.
All right.
But
well, listen, I want to. Is there anything you want to promote or anything?
Yeah, I want to promote. Like I said, Hungry Hill, 100%. It's going to be done. We're shooting it. That's another thing. I know how that works. They're doing the best they can for me. But if I'm away and they're shooting it, they're going to have to do what they got to do. And then when I come out, you know, I'll have to fill in one of my parts. But if I can't do it, I understand that's how the business works. So they're going to have to do what they got to do. I want to promote for my friends, especially Woodseck Mafia. It's going to be incredible. Like I said, Brian and Damien are both in it. They're in one of the scenes of it, one of the first scenes. I wish nothing but the best for John A. Jr. and Chris Gasparos and all involved, all the other people involved with that project. It's going to be huge. And like I said, I got the book coming out. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But there's just so much happening so fast that right when I get the book almost done, like 50 more pages. So I'm going to have to figure out maybe do 2 books or something. But when it comes out, it'll be very interesting. It'll be old stories like you heard tonight, mixing with some new stories, more in depth. And it'd be really, it'll be pretty cool to read and pretty cool to get into. And like I said, it's not going to give away any secrets of anybody who you know, I'm you know, deciphering the code of COVID or nothing like that. That ain't what I'm like. You know, I'm just telling my story, and my story is good enough. I don't have to talk about nobody else's story. So, but anyways, it'll be incredible. And like I said, I'm just looking to end this legal stuff. I had 2 beautiful grandchildren. That's the most important thing in my life right now. I have a beautiful grandson, Nino, and a little granddaughter. They're 5 months apart. Willow Ann. I got 2 daughters. They're married to great guys. I couldn't ask God if I picked the better husbands for my daughters. I couldn't have picked them in a million years. These 2 guys,
That's
they're doing
relief,
great.
right?
So,
I'm in the same situation.
There you go. And at the end of the day,
my daughter
people
has a great boyfriend. He's got everything going for him. And
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And you can't ask for better than that. That's the most important. With all the bullshits aside, who's talking about it on YouTube? Who's chasing you around with a camera, acting like an asshole? At the end of the day, them are the people that have no life. They have no kids, no grandkids, no life, no nothing. So they just get walled up in their own misery, you know? And the only thing I can suggest, and it took me a long time to realize, is just keep moving. Be around positive people. Get rid of negative people. All these channels, they got like these different channels where you go on and they talk about positive stuff. Forgive yourself and just all positive stuff. The more you watch it, and years ago I would have said you're crazy, but no, I'm not. I'm telling you, they ain't crazy. The more you watch positive things, you put yourself around positive people, you'll see how fast your life becomes positive. It's amazing. It's amazing what I'm seeing the results. And as much as I keep getting hit with negative, it's like I'm just sliding to the side and going forward, and nothing can stop me. Nothing.
That's good, man. That's great.
So that being
I'm
said,
looking forward.
that's it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in your future, man. I wish you nothing but the best. I've spoken to you many times. I could tell everybody Chicky is nothing but a gentleman. He's a great guy. He's fucking hilarious. He can
Thank you.
definitely keep you laughing. And
Mhm.
I'm honored to have you on the show, man. Thank you,
Thank
Chicky.
you. No, I'm honored to be here. And like I said, FBS, just keep moving forward with what you're doing. There's certain shows I won't do. They reach out to me. I have no desire to do the shows. And then there's other shows I do them, and you know, some with a grain of salt, some I enjoy. But nobody's going to tell me, don't do this show, don't do that show. I'm going to do what a show I'm going to do. The only show I won't do is certain shows on YouTube. There's certain shows that I just won't do them for either what they people represent or for what people, you know, it didn't even matter taking sides because all these YouTube channels, like yourself and other channels too, you know, you're giving a platform to whoever wants to speak, no matter who they are. You know, if this or that happened to them or they whatever they did, you're giving a platform. But when there's people out there that are giving one message and completely doing another message, why would you want to have them on your show? You know what I mean? If they're saying they changed and everything's wonderful and we're doing it for the right reason, and meanwhile there's a whole nother side to them where they're doing it cunningly and just they still got that ruthlessness in them. Why would you want to do that person's show?
No, I hear you. But since you mentioned people not wanting you to do my show, let
Yeah.
me ask, how is it to do a show where you actually get to talk rather than?
Oh boy. No, you don't. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like I said, we had a lot of fun. We laughed. We laughed a lot. We had a lot of fun. At one point, I think I said, "You want me to go take a shower and I'll come back and then I can go on after the shower." You know what I mean? It was funny. With a grain of salt, I laugh, and everybody's doing their own thing. I don't badmouth nobody. They're all doing their own show, and I'll tell you, I got to tell you, some of the shows I do, and like I know some of the shows I do, guys, and I'm going to be honest with you, the guys did legitimately do the jail time and they did serious time. I give them guys a lot of respect. I mean, you know, I do. I really give them a lot of respect, and I have no problem doing their show. But it is funny the different people like this. I haven't. I'm surprised she ain't on the phone torturing me already. But this other person reached out to me a couple times and never mad to me, but like telling me who I should do and that. And I just said, you know, I listen. I do people I want, and you know, it's these different shows. But who's against you? Who's not against somebody else? It's just crazy. And the only thing I can think of is the more you build your channel, can you imagine how much more haters you're going to have going against you?
Oh, I know.
You know, so
I know, bro. Yeah, I know. I'm getting used to it though. So
yeah. And like you said, if they start torturing you, you get somebody in your chat. See you later. It ain't even worth it. You know, it ain't even worth fighting no more. Just hey, see you later. And at the end of the day, it seems I watch your show all the time. I don't chime in too much, but you seem like you got a great audience, and I love the camaraderie. Is that the word? Camaraderie of all your people. And then you come on, and even other shows. I watch Angels once in a while, a couple shows, and I'll come on and say something, and I'll get 4 or 5 guys. Chicky, what's up? And it's like it's nice. You know, it's nice to have that camaraderie in the different chat rooms. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it is definitely. Yeah, I love it. Even as a host, content creator,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it. I love coming on here and knowing I'm going to see certain people and people have
absolutely,
my back and I get
hundred
support from
percent.
people. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great
It
thing.
is.
All
But
right, Chicky, thank you for
well,
everything,
listen,
man.
thank you again. Thanks God for all your people listening. And like I said, we'll talk soon, and I'll keep you updated on the future things coming up. But like I said, once again, just real quick, if you want to go have some laughs and see what's inside a crazy day in my head, go on my channel for Instagram, official_ Chicky Cecchetelli. And thanks again. Okay, have a great night.
Absolutely. You too.
All
I'll
right,
talk to you soon.
take care, FPS. Bye.
All right, bye. Chicky's a great dude. What a great show. I got to thank him later. That was fantastic. I'm glad we did that. A good Sunday night show for you guys. You got a little Super Bowl prediction. Listen, I'm not a big football guy. I don't know what to tell you. We'll see what happens. You never know. It seems like a lot of people in the chat didn't agree, but who knows? You got to remember, Chicky was the best at what he did at one point, so keep it in mind. Andrew B, $10. Thank you very much. Hey, FBS, I hope you're doing well. Did you see that recent Raymundi interview on Cinemills TV? You should watch it because I feel like it was heavily influenced by your debate with him. Respect. Well, thank you, Andrew. No, I'm going to look that up. Cinemills TV. Yeah, I'll look it up. And hopefully, yeah, I think, listen, hopefully I change some things about his story. We'll see. Um, thanks, Chris Drager. Yeah, I had to slip in a little joke there at the end. Sorry about that. Let's see. John DeLuca says it's all for the kids. Let's see what else we got here. It certainly is, though. I agree. That's what we're here for. That's what it's all about. I'm going to tell you something, guys. If you saw there was a point there where I was looking down for a second. I certainly wasn't trying to be rude, but I happened to glance at my phone and I got an email from somebody. My mind is a little blown here. All right, I'm trying to decide what I want to do about this right now, especially since I am live and all you guys are in here. So let me just give me 1 second to take a look. All right, Gianni, if you're out, all right, peace, man. Let me take a second to look at this because it's kind of a long email and decide if I want to read it to you or tell you who it's from. Because I'm shocked, to say the least. Say what? Wait a minute. Okay. All right. I don't know how I want to handle this. Let me ask you something. I noticed a lot of people talking in here about Tony being on live. What's he saying? Just out of curiosity. Is he talking about me? Let's just see what Joe sucks. Okay. Nothing about me. Okay. All right. Then I'm gonna. All right. All right. I will at some point tell you who this email is from. I'm still very confused about it. All right. Now, you know what? I'm just going to tell you guys. I don't know what to make of this, but I'm not going to leave you hanging. I don't know why I got this email, but it's from Sarma. And it's interesting. But I'm not going to talk about what's in it. I apologize for that. Tom and Johnny Mac. Okay. Actually told someone that talked about Shanna to get out. Well, that's what's up. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Somebody mentioned let's get Mikey's video. Yes, it is, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Yes. Somebody talked about Let's Get Mikey's last video. What did you want to ask me about that? No, I guess Tony's back. It must not. Maybe he fought it. Who knows? But it sounds like he's back. Nah, bro. It's. Um. Miss Can't Be Wrong is skeptical. I understand. Well, whether it's authentic or not, I mean, let me see. This is very strange. All right. Jordan Canada, you ain't shit. No, I'm sorry, guys. I don't feel comfortable with that yet. Let me see what's going on first with, you know, let me just see what's going on. I'll get back to you guys. I apologize. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have said anything. It's my fault. I'm sorry for that. But what was somebody wanted to ask about Let's Get Mikey's last video? What happened? You talking about him getting mad at me? Saying what he said about, it looks weak and all that? Let's see. Fairy Tale 999. Build your channel with the truth. Tell stories that are real, not what these little weasels represent. Well, thank you, Fairy Tale. I'll do my best. I appreciate the super chat. It's all your fault. You disappoint me, FPS. I'm sorry. I apologize. But yeah, listen, as far as the Let's Get Mikey thing, I think Let's Get Mikey is a good dude. I said that in the beginning. I have nothing bad to say about the guy. He's a hard worker. He seems like a family man. He's a New Yorker. There's things, there's no reason for me to trash Mikey. And I have no plans on doing that. I think what he was saying is, listen, not everybody understands the situation, and it's fine. People can have their opinions on anything I've done or anything I'm doing. It is what it is, but people aren't in my shoes. You know what I mean? They're not affected by certain things like other people in my life are. And I know what's best for me and the people, most of all, the people I love. So it could look like some sort of backing down or anything. There's no friendship. There's no nothing like that. I'm simply not talking bad about the guy. And if that bothers some people, I don't know what to say. I can't help you. But you don't fight my fights. I fight them. So I got to do what's best for the people around me. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. I didn't really see. I mean, I watched the video, but I didn't feel like I saw anything strange. Yeah, now Mikey's a good guy, man. If he's a little mad at me, whatever. What can I do? You know what I mean? But like I said, it's not everybody can understand it without knowing every little detail. So he said he was coming after Mikey's thumb. Oh, jeez. Yeah, nah, he's a good dude, man. Billy Bob FPS is a fat fuck. All you people are liberal losers and drug addicts. Oh, Billy. That's sad. How many oxys do you have in your system right now? Or what are you on, your third, fourth vodka? Very well said, FPS. Thank you, thank you. FPS, I don't think he was mad. Maybe disappointed a little. No, I understand. I understand. Trust me, I know. I know how it is. But what people need to understand is, and I've made this clear, is there's no friendship. There's no conversing behind the scenes. There's no phone calls, text messages, none of that shit. I'm just not talking about the dude anymore. That's it. Same as I'm doing with a couple of other people. And, honestly, at this point, even if Tony started back on me, I don't even know if I'd start back up because what else can be said? It went on for months. It went on for months. So it is what it is. But you know what? I don't want to get too much into this nonsense because this was a great show and I want to end it on a good note. Fairy tale, all good, no worries. I thank all of you for being here with me. Oh, there you go, Bruno. FPS because everyone is calling it a truce. Yeah, I know. That's what people. I know a truce, like as if we're buddies now. I know. If people paid less attention to what I'm doing, though, it would make my life a lot easier. Probably make their lives better too. So, thank you guys. Oh yeah, you know what? Hold on. I just want to acknowledge this. Boston Red too. I'm the furthest thing from a liberal, but I don't like or dislike anyone for their political view. Same thing. I dislike people based on their character, their actions, things like that. If you're a Republican, if you're a liberal, whatever, it is what it is. I don't care. And the best thing for friends to do is never talk politics. And then it won't be an issue. Angel Gotti, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to get going. I hope everybody enjoyed this. Chicky will be back on at some point to update us. If not, he'll get a hold of me and I'll update you guys for him. I'm going to go think a little bit more about this email and decide what to do. So, again, I appreciate you all. I love you all. And until next time, salute.